Hello my fellow creators and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I decided I would come on real quick to just make some quick and easy Christmas cards. And I'll be using this Recollections paper pad, the red and white Christmas. And this was a hot buy that I bought, looks like in 2020. So when I looked at the paper pad, I saw that there were these cut-aparts. And I thought these would be so easy to use to make some really quick and easy cards. So as you can see, there are 9 cut-aparts. So I'll go ahead and cut those apart off camera. And then I just went through the paper and found one that I thought went perfectly with all 9 of the cut-aparts. So I chose this gray with white and red, and I think it matches perfectly with each and every one of the cut-aparts. Let me show you. I'll just lay them on here real quickly so you can take a look. And they all coordinate quite well with that pattern paper. So I have decided that I'm going to cut this paper at 3 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall. I had this scrap and that was the measurement, so I thought I'll go ahead and use that so I can get some good use out of one sheet of pattern paper. So I'm going to start by cutting it at 10 1/2, and then I'll save that strip for the insides of my cards. And then now that I have this at 10 1/2, I'll bring it down to 5 1/4. And then I'll just put those 2 pieces together and cut my pieces down to 3 inches wide. So I'll bring this down to 9 and make my first cut, then down to 6 and make my next cut, and then finally down to 3 to make my final cut. And then I was able to get 8 of those pieces from that one sheet of pattern paper. And I had the scrap piece, so there's the 9 pieces I need for the 9 cut-aparts. So I'll just simply lay them on my white card base. That leaves me a little white border. And then add the cut-apart. Now, I think that cut-apart's a little bit big, so I'm going to cut it down just a bit. These cut-aparts are 4 by 4, but I'm going to cut the width down by 1/4 inch on each side so that it becomes a 3 1/2 by 4 piece of pattern paper. And I think I like the way that looks on there proportionally much better. So let me cut down the rest of the cut-aparts and I'll be right back.
Snow is falling down. I've been longing for this Christmas.
And I had to pause for a moment on my cutting because as I'm recording this video, I am also taking care of my 6-month-old grandson. And he was waking up from a nap, which means I had to stop what I was doing and grab him. And as you can see, his little hands are reaching for my paper. So let me get him settled in and then I'll be back to put together my cards. Alright, now that I have my grandson all settled in, playing with a toy right next to me, I'm going to go ahead and trim down this scrap piece of pattern paper. And I'm going to trim it down to 4 inches wide. And then from there, I'll trim each of the pieces down to anywhere between 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, and that way I'll get 9 of these pieces of pattern paper to use on the inside of the cards.
As hours pass by, all the stars shine much brighter. Or is it just your eyes that have lit something in me? See you coming closer from across the...
Now let's go ahead and assemble one card together. Make sure it turns out how I had it in my mind. I'm going to go ahead and lay down this piece of pattern paper that's 3 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I will add our cut apart piece of pattern paper on top of that. Then I'll go ahead and grab one of my little strips of pattern paper and add some of my dry adhesive to that, and then just place it on the bottom inside of my Christmas card. And there we have one card completed. Now let's go ahead and complete the rest.
It's a time of joy, but now this year is twice as special, 'cause I'm hoping for that we'll fall in love in this winterland. Could we fall in love in this winterland? Wanna fall in love in this winter wonderland.
Christmas lights are all around. I can see them now. It's like they spell your name. It's insane. Now we're back here once again. Holidays and cheer. But now I got my eye set on you. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I've been trying to show you, but somehow felt I wanna have someone to hold. Walking through the falling snow. I've been trying to tell you in every way, but now I'll get it done. I'm not gonna wait and right around the mistletoe. I'm gonna let my feelings show. Always got you on my mind, but I know this time you're on top of my list. Only wish. And as we decorate the tree, only you and me, I'll be making plans, make you understand. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I've been trying to show you, but somehow felt I wanna have someone to hold. Walking through the falling snow. I've been trying to tell you in every way, but now I'll get it done. I'm not gonna wait and right around the mistletoe. I'm gonna let my feelings show. I've been waiting for so long for you, but now I got it planned. I know just what to do. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I've been trying to show you.
Alrighty, I've completed my cards, and as you can see, some of these cut aparts have the sentiments already as part of the cut apart, and then the rest don't have a sentiment, but there is plenty of space on the cut apart where I can add a sentiment using either some pre-printed sentiments I have in my stash or some stamps that I have in my stash. I think they are pretty easy to make holiday cards using one sheet of patterned paper and one sheet of cut aparts, and they came together fairly quickly. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribed to my YouTube channel or followed me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye.